Thanks to everyone for joining us this morning. We've got Max with us. He's our senior solution architect um, for over 4 years with Vaidio. I'm sure a lot of you know him already. Um, he and are a part of our solution architect team and have done a ton of work with partners, enabling them on the technical side mostly. Max was helped us architect our technical certification, which many of you participated in, and we were at ISC West earlier this year. We've got another technical certification coming up later this year that Max will probably be helping us run. But today, Max is going to help us understand the new 9.1 release, and that is going GA on the 18th, right, Gael? Did I get that right? Yes. And
Yes.
so we wanted to give everybody a preview of what's in that release. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to kind of walk you through each of the key new capabilities. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the benefits of these capabilities, and then Max is going to walk us through a demonstration of the capabilities, and then we're going to open it up for all your questions. And so I just wanted to kind of take you through some of the key capabilities here and describe some of the benefits, right? So the first one is camera auto configuration insights. This kind of gets you some real-time previews and capacity estimates to optimize the deployment. So we kind of prevent overloads during setup, kind of avoid trial and error configuration, deploy faster, more accurately, and reduce support requests, reduce the need for you to kind of request support from us and make it much easier out in the field. Max, is this going to be something that our customers and partners are going to enjoy? What are some of the problems this is going to solve for us?
Yeah, it's a fantastic scalability solver, right? Because it allows rapid deployment of a bunch of our most common analytics. And that was out of the box in 9.0. And now in 9.1, we have some more intelligent technology that's going to help it optimize based on the current server specs, so you can truly get the most out of your appliance here.
Love it, love it. The next one is cross-camera vehicle tracking. So this is part of what we've been delivering as part of our Vaidio City initiative. So this is a way to follow vehicles seamlessly across multiple cameras. Really an incredible technological capability that Vaidio has that's pretty differentiated in the marketplace. So you can kind of maintain the continuous tracking without manually switching camera feeds. It identifies things across the streams. This kind of improves accuracy for investigating, following a car across these multiple cameras. This will help our law enforcement type use cases. Obviously reduces search time dramatically, which is one of our really key differentiated capabilities, is how fast we can search your video feeds and basically expand this coverage area without losing the ability to connect to a vehicle across zones. Max, anything I missed on cross-camera vehicle tracking? This feels like a really differentiated thing that customers really love about Vaidio, is this ability to go across camera streams.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that like anyone who's familiar with our current cross camera tracking, which we've actually renamed to person cross camera tracking in
Mm-hmm.
9.1, this is not going to be anything different than what they're already experiencing, except now we can do it on cars and not just people.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, I lots of interesting use cases out there in the field for this capability. Another thing that we released is our traffic management module. So this is now GA. We can look at these intersection crossings. We can do turn counts. We can look for congestion. we can monitor traffic signals. This produces a ton of data for city planners and traffic planners to get the timing of the various um, lights right and improve traffic flow. It's kind of replaces those giant cables that you have to manually lay across an intersection to get car counts, or even having somebody manually sitting there with a clipboard. This is a really useful feature, Max. Any comments on this one?
I honestly, you covered most of what I was going to say, right? It's so much
Nice.
easier than throwing someone out there to watch cars for a couple hours. Something that I like about it, and we'll get to see a little bit more of this live, is it's definitely one of the most visually impactful analytics I think we've ever rolled out. The map
Mm,
view, the details that you get just looking at the page, it's incredible.
yeah, it demos really well. We're going to see that in a minute here. Um, wouldn't be a a complete pitch without showing a little bit of the Vaidio data, right? So, taking all of this metadata tagging that happens with the Vaidio software, the incredibly broad platform that we have that recognizes so many objects, so many AI engines, definitely the broadest platform in the marketplace today. But then the real beauty is taking all of those alerts and events and mapping them out into an analytics package. And we have improved the dwell time component of this in particular, Max. Yes?
Yeah, tracking individual objects got some improvements in 9.1, and then of course we have the enhancements to the dwell dashboard and the statistics that we're recording. And we'll get to show off a little bit of that towards the end.
Wonderful. Natural language video search. This one I have a little trouble describing. Can you help me out on this one?
Yeah, it's this is a tool that even like every day I learn something new about what it can do.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Um, it's gonna be easier to demo than talk about, but basically we're combining VLM technology with our object detection,
Hmm.
and it allows us to expand our sort of search parameters. We can use natural language for alerts as well. It's really the type of technology that I kind of don't even want to spoil like what it can do. I really want to show it,
Okay.
but it is fascinating.
It demonstrates our ability to kind of take in these new VLMs, the new innovations that happen at the AI level, really, and just kind of incorporate them into our existing platform. Is that a good kind of assessment of what's going on here?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Okay, well, I can't wait to see the demo of that. And then tell me a little bit about this expanded VMS integration. I don't know a ton about these VMS systems, but I'm assuming they're just out in the market, and we're just continuing to expand the number of vendors that we work with and easily integrate with. It makes setting up easier, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Amagonitis, I mean, we've been working with them for a while now to get this ready for general release, and it's not anything that we haven't done time and time again with other VMS partners, but
Hmm.
it's always exciting to expand this sort of functionality. So it's the type of stuff where we're sending alerts, we're able to retrieve video from their platforms, the standard integration package that
Yeah.
we usually provide.
I mean, we love these partners and want to make it as easy as possible for our customers to leverage whatever other technology they want to use, right? Like whatever's best for our customers, we want to empower. So thank you to these awesome partners, and really looking forward to making it as easy as possible for our customers to work with them, right?
Yeah,
And tell me a
absolutely.
little bit about the redesigned user interface. Is there anything that we should be, as you're about to walk us through the demo here, is there anything we should be particularly aware of from a UI perspective that's been improved?
There's going to be a few spots, and I'll try to point them out when I'm going through them.
Okay.
But essentially, the biggest impact is that we've tried to make things bigger. You'll see this when we're searching through metadata scenes. It's
Hmm.
now basically a full page instead of like the smaller window that we used to have. So
Okay.
it's all of these improvements are sort of geared towards visibility, accessibility, seeing things as clear as possible.
Okay. Wonderful. Max, I'm going to stop here and let you take over and just give the people what they want. They want to see this thing in action. So why don't you walk us through some of these capabilities?
Yeah, give me one moment here. Let me make sure that I'm pulling up the right tab. Can everyone see my screen?
I can.
Great. I was
Yes.
just thinking the last time I did this was an 8.1, and like shortly after I started presenting, my whole computer crashed. So
Oh God,
I feel like
you're going to give me
I've
a heart attack, Max.
listen, you have no idea. I gave myself a heart attack that day. Today, we're going to start off on the camera page to talk about the auto configuration improvements. If anyone's not familiar, auto configuration is a button that you can see on the camera page. It's got this little sparkle emoji, so you know you're clicking on the right one. And I'm going to go through the process of setting it up. We can see here, just have all our cameras selected for the purposes of this exercise. I'm going to hit next. And what it's actually doing, that was very quick. It ran through each of our cameras with a piece of VLM, and it spit back what it thinks can run on it. And if I take a look, let's just look at this, right? This says LPR would be appropriate, make and model recognition, vehicle cross camera tracking. That's because it's a street view. If I look at, something that's, where's an interior one that I can point out? Oh yeah, the corridor, age and gender, face recognition, human attributes, right? Stuff that makes sense for the environment that it's looking at. But we can also see down at the bottom, analytic capacity is insufficient. So what we've added is a new secondary feature that is now going to review this process and intelligently make sure that everything we suggest fits on the server. So I'm going to go ahead and click fit to capacity. And this is going to start going through it again. And it's just going to be taking off analytics until the server can fit them all. And we can see it's going, it's going, it's going. Takes a couple seconds here, and it's just about done, and it's going to end with 98.44% capacity. So it's just been going through and optimizing everything to really bring this server to almost 100%. If I'm not happy with anything that it recommended, I'll take off natural language here. Maybe I don't want person fall here. And of course, I can also pick which analytics I actually want it to auto configure for, plus just click this button here and add them myself. So you can see this is a lot quicker than going into individual cameras and adding analytics. It's not all of our analytics, but it is our most common ones. So you can imagine if you've got a couple hundred cameras, it's going to be a lot easier to get a lot of analytics on the cameras faster.
So
Matt,
just
yep.
just so I get this part. So it is smart enough to recognize what is the camera is showing. You showed one that had like LPR on there and flashed up that street view. Like the software is intelligent enough to recognize that the angle of that camera and what it's actually viewing, it can say, hey, that's a really good camera for these analytics. And so it's automatically optimizing both for the view that the camera is providing and simultaneously in the background optimizing for the hardware specifications that you've got deployed. Yes,
Yeah, that's
that's
that's exactly
incredible.
right. So between that built-in intelligence and you being able to pick the cameras and the analytics that you're actually going to want to deploy on these, it really does make for rapid setup.
Right. Less mistakes, gets you kind of 80, just like AI, right? It kind of just gets you like 80% of the way there. You got to go in and check everything and make sure it's accurately configured, but you're getting like 80% of the work done. Is that too aggressive? Am I being too much of a marketing guy or
No, I think that's a good way to look at it.
80? Would you say
If I'm
80?
if I'm going to speak from the tech perspective, right, you're always going to want to make sure and go in, just make sure your T's are crossed and I's are dotted. But yeah, I mean, this is going to get you a huge amount of the way there.
Amazing. Okay.
Awesome. So with that, we're going to move over to traffic management, and I'm just going to kind of let it speak for itself for a minute here. Um, as you can see, this is a live view. We've sort of plotted, not sort of, we've plotted positions on these camera views to map where the lanes of travel are. And maybe you guys just saw something cool. You see these lights just turned green. We see that's
Hmm.
actually reflected in the traffic on this side, and we can see them start to cross over here. Now, we do support up to 4 intersections. This particular demonstration only has 2 of the 4, but we can see, things are starting to happen. People are going, I think this is eastbound left. We are getting some counts on the westbound side now. So we're tracking the light signals, the lanes, and the direction of travel all in one pane of glass.
This is incredible, Max. You know what? I'm gonna challenge our audience here a little bit to, in the chat, toss out some ideas for how we could leverage this in use cases and empower cities, traffic managers, law enforcement to use these capabilities. I'd love to hear some ideas from the crowd, and then when we go to the Q&A, Max, maybe Gael will shout out a couple of good examples here. Let's get the crowd involved. This is really cool. Um, I can think of a million use cases for this. What are some things that you have talked to customers about for use cases for this type of capability? I mean, obviously there's traffic flow, there's light timing, there's some law enforcement things here. Any ideas that you have for how you're going to plan to use this out in the field?
Sure. I mean, I to be honest with you, I think you covered a lot of the main ones. This
Okay.
is such a powerful smart city application.
Mm,
Um, being able to monitor traffic, being able to compare that against the light signals and times. I don't know if anyone caught it, and I don't know if we're going to see it again before it came back up, but we're actually not just tracking green, yellow, red. It even recognizes like the turn arrows and all that. So that's all built into this module. It's just a fantastic tool.
there's one from John. Near misses. I think that's something that we can train the model to alert for, right, Max?
Yeah, we're doing some near miss technology. Actually, not through the traffic module. We're using some
Okay.
other analytics for that with the actual like dwell tracking, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But certainly a ton of potential here.
Yeah, there's like red light runs, there's hit and runs, there's like somebody on the somebody on the road. You can send an alert to law enforcement if somebody's on the road. Let's see, traffic management could involve into a predictive system.
Yeah, I think that predictive systems are sort of the way this technology is going to be going.
Yeah,
If I had to guess. But yeah, so this is the new traffic management module. Matt, what do you think?
fantastic.
Should we show them some of the new search stuff?
Let's take a look.
Fantastic. Okay. So anyone who's used the platform before, and I have to imagine that's most of you, what I'm going to start off doing is probably not going to be anything shocking. I'm just going to run a search for all of yesterday. We can see over 500,000 results were generated on this server. Now, of course, we want to start getting more specific. We don't just want to look at all of this. I'm going to go ahead and select the person object type. And I'm going to go
Hang on a
ahead.
second, Max. What did
Yeah.
you search for first? What was the filtering criteria? Because that popped up pretty fast with a 500,000 results.
Oh yeah, no, that was Matt. That was everything. That was everything that this server ran from all day yesterday.
Okay, got it. But still, it was incredibly fast. So now you're refining the search. Sorry.
Yep. So with person, this is still all day yesterday. All of our cameras. We went from over 500,000 down to about 15,000, which is a lot better. Still not great. I don't know if anyone noticed this, but when I added person, there's actually a new field next to person. This is a text box. I can put whatever I want in here, and this is going to be a natural language search using the new natural language enhancement. So maybe I don't just want person. Maybe I want person holding a cup. This is going to search those 14,000 people results and is going to come back with people holding cups. Now, if anyone doesn't know, cup is not an object type in Vaidio. You can't, I can't pull up this menu, pick cup, and search off of it.
Mm.
So this is actually looking at people and determining if they're holding a cup. I could take this same analytic, I could put this exact search in an alert, and now I don't need to search for it. Anytime the system detects a person holding a cup, it'll send an alert, which is just absolutely fantastic. So if I just want to pop into one super fast and show off the if anyone's used the system before, you can see the screen for this search is a lot bigger now. It's taking up the entire window. Um,
That's
we can
part of the
see,
UI enhancement.
yes, this is part of the UI enhancements. Yep. And we can see here's a person holding a cup. Um, but it's not just person that we can apply this technology to. And I want to kind of show how we can leverage this on top of some of our other analytics. So let's pick a scenario. Maybe something like a vehicle of interest, maybe an Amber Alert, God forbid, and you know an approximate time period that this occurred. We'll give ourselves like a 15-minute time range here. We know that the vehicle we're looking for is a blue truck, but maybe we have a little bit of extra detail about what type of truck this is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type a blue truck with decal stickers, and I'm going to run this search. And if I pop up this one search result that we got, I'm going to hover over this. You can see it actually recognized that this vehicle had decal stickers on it. And again, this is not object recognition in the conventional Vaidio sense that we're using here. This is VLM that went through our blue truck results and picked out ones that had decal stickers. And it's
So
still
decal
recording.
stickers are not part of our set of standard objects that we identify. This is enhancement that's coming through this VLM, right? So now this platform that we have, which is the broadest in the market today, actually even becomes more broad through this capability. Yes?
That's exactly right. And I'm not going to do it for this demonstration, but there's other stuff that you could search for too, like a truck with a covered truck bed, right? Like
Mm.
details about your vehicle of interest or your object of interest that help separate it from, things that you don't care as much about. And now you can kind of look for those finer details. Of course, it's still doing the normal vision analytics. It detected that this was a Ford. And even though that is super blurry, I do believe that is a Ford. It's still running license plate recognition.
Right.
But so now, right, we did our search. We found a vehicle of interest. I'm going to go right from here into vehicle cross camera tracking, which is
Right.
our new method of being able to track vehicles.
We
So
want to know where this guy's been.
that's exactly right.
Okay.
So I see we have this guy selected. I'm going to go ahead and hit track. I just want to make sure this opened up a new window. Just want to make sure we're all looking at the same thing here in the new menu.
It's thinking. I see it. I see a bunch of
Perfect.
trucks.
Yep. Now, I always like to say this. I've said this with person cross camera tracking. I'm going to say the same thing with vehicle cross camera tracking. It's a fantastic tool. It is designed to be a rapid forensic engine. It is not necessarily 100% accurate, and that's okay.
Mhm.
If I look at this last guy here, there are actually no decal stickers on here. That's okay. I can take them out. We can see that it now populates over here in our deleted section. This deleted result is just as powerful for searching as our original image. It's going to say, not only do I want to look for things that look like this, now I need to be more selective about things like this. Fortunately, there was only one result here. I don't really need to run this again, but we've built this to be as efficient as possible to rapidly create a profile about our object of interest, which used to just be persons, now it's vehicles as well. And if anyone has used cross camera tracking previously, what I'm going to do next is probably not going to shock you, but I love it to death. I'm going to go ahead and open our map view. I'm going to pin where we detected this vehicle, and I'm going to path it. We can
Mm.
see there's only two different cameras here. That's okay. We still have a pretty clear path of travel, right? The vehicle was detected for the first time over here, and it was detected shortly after down the road over here. So, I've been talking this whole time. I've been going through the steps, and it still just took a couple minutes to go from a basic search with a little bit of information that we had about a vehicle to now a breakdown about where this vehicle has been. And if we wanted to, I'm not going to pull up the Excel spreadsheet here, but we do have an export button, which takes all of the information that you're looking at in this map view and puts it in a handy dandy file.
Incredible. We're getting all kinds of interesting questions queuing up within the chat. So we're gonna bring those up, but let's let you go through the rest of this. A couple of things on the license plate questions, like, is there nuances around the license plate detection with regards to speed and clarity, like a muddy license plate or the quality of the camera? I know we have partners like ProHawk that can help improve in low light, but our LPR detection is pretty amazing just standalone, right, Max? Can you talk a little
It
bit
is.
about that
Yeah.
capability in specific? Because there's a couple questions here about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, LPR and all the stuff I'm going to say applies to face recognition as well. They function pretty similarly, right? You do want legible characters.
Hmm.
If you have illegible characters, the system's going to do its best to recognize it. But you still need to be able to see it. I actually think it did a pretty outstanding job.
That's a pretty long distance shot right there, and it tracked it, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not like what I would call an ideal quality image for license plate recognition. I mean, even the branding, like I was showing before, is very blurry on this particular camera view. But it does its best. It gives it its best shot. It does a fantastic job still, but I don't think you want to substitute how well we read plates with good quality camera images, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I
the camera image quality is going to determine how accurate it is more so than the accuracy of our platform. Although there was a question in here about competitive and the accuracy of our camera of our platform and the breadth of our platform are really critical differentiators versus other competitors in the marketplace. Also, speed of our searches. Can you just give us a minute of from your perspective out there competing with all these other software solutions? Give us a quick rundown on broadest platform, most accurate, and search as kind of three really core differentiators. Can you give the audience a little bit of your thoughts on that, please?
Yeah, so I mean, I
And
think the search.
anything else, sorry, that I missed.
No, no, you're good. I think the searches, we got to see a number of fantastic examples of how quickly the searches were coming in. Alerts generating within 3 seconds. We were able to watch the traffic module in real time, right? So it's tracking those individual cars, plotting them. The breadth of the platform, I think, is another thing that even in the few features, the new features that we're talking about today, right? It's such a small part of the whole thing, right? Because you have so much. And if I had to say like what one of the biggest differentiators is, just to loop back to what I've already shown off, right? It's the way that the analytics play together, right?
Mm,
These aren't just independent cameras that are running, one or two analytics. They don't have a great way to communicate that data to a central platform, right? We combined object detection, we combined it with natural language search, we combined it with vehicle cross camera tracking, everything is designed to play well together. And I think that
Mm.
those are really some of the core differentiators.
And it works with whatever infrastructure you already have, right? Like we're agnostic. The VMSs, obviously, we're continue to add to the VMSs we support, the cameras we support. It works with whatever camera infrastructure you already have today, so you can unlock the power of your cameras and get more out of that investment, right?
Well, exactly, right? It's designed to slide into your existing infrastructure as an extra layer of intelligence.
Okay. All right, there's more questions popping in, but I know you've got some other things to show us. What else have you got in your bag of tricks, Max?
Yeah, we're just gonna look at one other feature today. We're gonna talk about the dwell improvements. I'm gonna go ahead and start this camera up, and we'll give it a second to load, but I just want to sort of pop it up here. Let's
Mm,
clear our view. Um, so these are some of the dwell improvements in 9.1. Now, obviously, I literally just started this camera. It's only had a few seconds to start tracking folks, but you can see how well it's doing given the number of people that it needs to follow. Um, you can see, we got the numbers populating overhead.
those
So
numbers are the dwell times.
yes, how
Okay.
long they've been standing there, and there's a number of complicated algorithms that are happening to get the best results for individual people. But we have now all of this data that's being collected. We've always had this. We've had Dwell for quite a number of releases now. But what I want to talk about that maybe some folks haven't seen before is how we can use business intelligence to get the most out of this information that we're looking on the
I see
screen.
them. They're starting to queue up there a little bit.
Yeah, they're starting to get into the lines. And so what I'm going to do is pop over to Vaidio Data. I don't know if people have, if everyone here has used Vaidio Data before, but this is our business intelligence tool. It's built to be a little bit of extra intelligence over your traditional real-time analytics. And so this is using the data from that camera, and we can kind of scroll through and see what we're looking at. We can see
Mm,
average dwell time per hour. We get totals. I mean, it's a fantastic breakdown of information. Anything that you could want to see. Um, can be collected and recorded here and then exported
mm.
as a CSV if you need to run some additional data analytics on it. So this got some more enhancements in 9.1, some extra tables and functionality. But Video Data is certainly not a new piece of the platform. I do hope we'll get to see some more use out of it, especially given some of these updates to our dwell algorithm.
Yeah, I think this is a really important thing to spend some time on because, you know, we we take all that camera data, the video feeds, we convert it into metadata tags with our super broad platform that recognizes all kinds of objects, has all kinds of analytic engines to process that data. I'm kind of giving you the layman's um, perspective on this, right? You can help me with the more technical elements, but we convert all that data into metadata tags, which makes it super easy to work with, right? Like all these things you're showing about um, monitoring and alerts and searching on things and finding things and then putting them on a map. That's really amazing functionality for working with those video feeds. But this part where you actually plot it out onto a analytic engine is really where you can do some real analysis. And I'm thinking of like one of the customers we have is a major professional football organization. They have a stadium in the East Coast, and they bought our platform initially to handle safety and security use cases, right? Like Max, help me out here. What would they use it from a safety and security perspective for?
Yeah, when we were first starting out, it was I think intrusion detection was a big one, right? Making sure
Okay.
people weren't, sneaking around when they weren't supposed to be.
Right. Not in
Um,
areas they're not supposed to be. We want to send an alert to our security staff and like go grab this guy, right?
yeah,
And then their use cases kind of expanded beyond safety and security with analysis like this, where you can say how many people are waiting in line for a beer at halftime. We don't want our fans to miss the third quarter of the football game waiting for their beer. And so I think what they really found, or the capability was to expand beyond safety and security and into operational effectiveness and customer experience. And this
yeah,
is the kind of analysis that can really help you. You see the spikes, like when do the spikes occur? Now, what can I do to minimize those wait times, right?
yeah. Sanitation actually was a got a huge boost with this technology because it helped them analyze like restrooms. Where were the busiest restrooms? Has a certain number of people, used it in a certain amount of time, so they could prioritize when to clean, where to clean, and create a better experience for everyone.
Yeah, these are the types of things that really track to high ROI use cases by industry, right? We're going to talk a little more about that in a second here. Max, this demo was amazing. Do you have anything else to show us, or should we take some questions?
Let's take some questions.
Okay. Gael, do you want to come back on and hit Max with some questions, some Q&A here? Or if
Yes.
anybody
Oh my
wants to
gosh.
raise their hand, we can take some questions directly from the audience. But Gael, why don't you start?
Yeah, we got a lot of questions come in through the Q&A back from the beginning, so I'm just going to start with that. Back when we were talking about vehicle cross-camera tracking, someone was interested in can vehicle cross-camera tracking be used to support vehicle loitering?
So I would actually throw dwell detection at that last analytic that we just saw. If you have a vehicle that's, sitting around for more than, let's say, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever you need, right? You can get a real-time alert on that. That's probably the analytic I think would be better fitted for it.
Perfect. And also, does cross-camera tracking work for other vehicles than cars, like trucks, buses, etc.?
Yes, yeah. I mean, the demonstration, we got to see a blue truck on it. I've actually found it works pretty well on like tractor trailers, especially because they have distinct logos and lettering on them. That can actually make it a lot easier to search for. So certainly more than just cars here.
Perfect. And then switching gears over to the, let me see, auto configuration, camera auto configuration. Someone noticed that it only adds 4 ROI points, and they want to know if it's possible to add more than that.
Certainly could be. I don't believe it's supported today, but I think that's a fantastic idea, and I totally understand the point, right? You want to be able to get more fine-grained control when you're going in to edit it. So I'm actually gonna take this question out as a feature request.
Cool. And yeah, this was a question from Barry. So if anyone wants to raise their hand and, talk a little bit more about this, yeah, feel free to raise your hand and I will go ahead and unmute you. All right, moving on. So staying on this camera auto configuration, does it take into account number of analytics for each type the system has? So for example, if you only have 5 cross-camera vehicle tracking licenses, no more than 5 cameras will be allocated to this type of license.
So I think it technically can go over the maximum amount of licenses you have, but as we've always said, right? Like Vaidio is not tied to the licenses are not tied to the cameras, right? So you can always apply them in bulk. And then as long as you're not enabling more than that at the same time, you're fine. But of course, we also do have fine grained control over selecting which cameras you want to apply the auto configuration to. So I would keep that in mind when you're setting it up so that if you don't want to go over, just make sure you have the right number of cameras selected for your analytics.
Perfect. And then we got a question come in from Joel from the Dominican Republic, and they want to know if we have any analytics for abandoned objects first. I think that would be object left behind.
Yeah. If you have something left behind, we always want to make sure that the system can detect it, like out of the box. We do backpack, bag, luggage, which are typically the most common for object left behind. If it's something a little bit more specific than that, if it's a factory that has specific types of things that are being abandoned, we would look at that on a case by case basis.
Okay. And they would also be interested in alerts for individuals wearing badges and hooded coats where such attire is prohibited. It's very
That's
specific.
that is very specific. I would definitely be interested in seeing how maybe we could apply natural language search to that, because obviously hoods are not out of the box Vaidio objects, badges are not out of the box Vaidio objects, and I'm sure I don't need to tell anyone badges are come in all shapes and sizes, right? If you have enough pixels on your target, right, and especially for a badge, you're going to want lots of pixels on your person. It's certainly worth seeing if natural language enhancement can satisfy that use case. Then that's
Yeah, they
if
are.
there's other questions about NLE, what I kind of want to say is like it's incredible technology. I learn something new about it every day. We all do. Which which is to say there's not necessarily a hard set of instructions yet for what is and what is not going to work. We get to play around with it, and we get to see exactly what this tool is capable of.
It's always
Yeah.
it's exciting, right? Like I find that it's constantly exceeding the expectations.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And then moving on to the traffic management part. Since we have light status, they want to know where that we're getting the light status from.
That is a great
from
question.
John.
Yeah, this one might actually be more interesting if I show you the setup. Just bear with me for 1 second. Let me make sure I'm pulling this up properly. The basic gist is we're treating it from a setup perspective very similarly to any other analytic that we have. And I actually think that vehicle management and the traffic management, it's a lot more important to spend the time to make sure that it's being set up properly. Give me 1 second here, and let me share my screen again, and I'll actually show how we set this up to run. Here
And
we
we did get a
go.
comment from Ivanhoe, who was giving us another use case for this traffic management, which was accident and liability cases. This was what Matt was asking.
100%.
Sure.
That's a great one. Good job.
Yeah. So we can see we've actually set up all of the different pieces from the lanes to the lights, and you can even pick the signal map and the signal type. Oh, this is awesome, actually. So you pick exactly what kind of light this is, so the system can recognize it when the color changes. So there is definitely some setup required to get this to work, but just like everything else we have, right? Once you're done, it's good to go. So this is a bit of a deeper look into how this all works with the light signal detection.
And that can all go into this analytic view, right? So that it's certainly easier to do that little configuration that you just showed, Max, than it is to roll a hose across the thing and have a guy with a clipboard sitting there. Like that's going to be much more accurate from a data collection perspective than any other existing method.
Yes, absolutely.
Keep going, Gael. Let's hear some more questions. These are great.
Yeah, these are great. Yeah, so I think people are eager to get their hands on this feature. They want to know when it's going to be available on the cloud demo and to the public.
Yeah, so I'll talk about the public first. I think that's most important. Like Matt was saying at the beginning, this is going to go live on Monday, the 18th. If you have a Vaidio server that's connected to the internet and it's under warranty, you can go right to your admin portal and run the upgrade process from there. If you have an offline server, no problem. Reach out to your support staff so that we can get you a download of the offline upgrade package.
Great.
For the demo side of things, you'll have to bear with us. We try to get it updated as quickly as possible. Sometimes it can take a week or two just to get it rolled over to the next version. So bear with us, but it'll be available in the near future. Actually, I think that
Max.
would be a great thing to get updated to this, to our partners when the update goes live, right, Matt? Is that something we could do
Yes,
for
sounds like
on the
it.
demo site? Yeah, awesome.
Definitely.
Can we just take a minute here, Gael, to acknowledge the wonderful development team from Vaidio and how hard they work to deliver these features to us. They're the servers, everything, getting it out the door. They're working so hard right now to deliver this. So should we just give them a tip of the hat here really quickly to say thank you for all their incredible work, right?
I wish I could send emojis like we can in Google Meets, but yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, keep going with these questions. Oh, sorry, Max. We want to say something for the developers
yeah, I was just gonna say these guys work
and
tirelessly,
gals.
and gals. These guys and gals work tirelessly. They are constantly working to optimize the product to deliver the features that our partners need. I obviously none of us could do what we're doing without them. So absolutely, big shout out to them.
We did get one more question on traffic management. They want to know if we can support heat mapping to detect most used lanes for maintenance, for example.
Yeah, we've actually always had a heat map functionality in our statistics tab, and it's broken down by object type. So you could definitely use that with or without the traffic management module to determine what type of lanes are getting the most use. And it's broken down hourly or daily. You can get it.
All right. I think that's
Man,
it for the new features. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
awesome job. Gael, thank you so much for managing all that for us and getting everything set up. You're doing an awesome job. Max, wonderful job. So excited about these features. You tell the story so well. We really appreciate your time here. Maybe you can hang out with us for a little bit. I want to do a couple of things for the partners to plug our partner portal and some of the marketing collateral that we've been developing to help them guide a conversation with a city or any other industry for that matter, and have these introductory conversations about Vaidio so that they can create opportunities for us to get this awesome technology into people's hands. So we're gonna take you took us through like the where the rubber meets the road. I'm gonna zoom us back a little bit and just talk a little bit about how to introduce Vaidio to a potential customer and more top of the funnel things. But maybe you
Was
can
that a
just hang out with me.
Of course, was that a traffic joke, Matt, where the rubber meets the road?
Yes, it was unintentional, but that was a good one. I'll give myself some credit for that. So just real quickly, I want to just remind everybody that you've got this partner portal available to you. Love to see you sign up for that and use that as much as possible. There are all kinds of tools to help you. And we've been pretty hard at work developing industry adapted introductory pitches for Vaidio. And Clayton Tyler is on the call with us this morning. He's been really driving this effort for the company to adapt the basic first call pitch, which we showed you a couple of calls ago. And then last call, Marshall walked us through the CIO pitch. And there are just a lot of different options here. And I'm going to focus, because of so many of the awesome new features in the 9.1 release centered around city management, I just wanted to call particular attention to the available marketing collateral for having a discussion with a city manager, mayor. We've got a lot of cities that are coming up with World Cup needs. We've got LA with the Olympics coming up. Cities are keenly interested, we're finding right now, in this type of technology because they have a lot of cameras and they want to unlock more ROI from those cameras. And that's what Vaidio is all about. And so I wanted to quickly just give you a flavor of what a industry deck looks like. And I'm not going to try to pitch it to you because you don't need to be pitched to. You know how to do this. So I'm going to kind of do it in a way that kind of gives you some insight into why we built it the way we built it. I'm going to do it really quickly. But I want to just start on this industry slide because these, in my mind, are the entry point use cases to start a conversation about Vaidio in any one of these industries. And we obviously, I just showed you, support more than these 8, but these are the 8 that we're kind of centering around. And these are the use cases that are kind of what we found to be the most common to start a discussion. And the one I wanted to run you through quickly is the city one, but just keep in mind that we have a deck that looks a lot like this that is adapted for that industry across all those things that I just showed you. And they're all in the partner portal. And so we start by kind of talking about some of the issues that cities are facing despite having all these cameras. They're not getting the value that they thought they would be. And with AI, this market influence, this trend, this technology shift, AI is changing the way we can leverage these cameras. And we kind of center our use cases around 2 key areas. One is safety and security use cases. You see those on the left. And then the other is these operational effectiveness and customer experience enhancements. These are the ones on the right. And you can see them get adapted. You saw the dwell time, and we talked a little bit about the stadium and the beer lines. And so each of these decks will kind of describe them in the light of the industry. And then I saw somebody asked in the flow in the questions about differentiation. And we don't really call out competitors by name in our collateral, but just know that our core differentiation is embedded into our positioning. So fastest results, most accurate, works with any camera, any infrastructure, most flexible deployment, and 9th generation platform are really the differentiators versus other competitors. And that last one is the 9th generation product. And you just saw the 9.1 release. Every release is chock full of enhancements, which makes our platform the broadest platform in the market today. And so what you see here is just a sampling of the AI engines, the 3,000 plus trained objects we have on our platform, and the thousands of applications that you can use it for. And those capabilities give you an entry point to have a conversation about use cases. And so these are kind of the general categories of use cases we have for cities. And then we go through, and these are the areas where we can actually improve and create benefits for those different use cases. And we go through all of them in the deck. And then we usually cap it off with a customer example. So I call these recipes. These are ingredients. These are recipes. And then this is the meal, the customer success. Okay, now we're taking this to the next level right now, and I want to introduce Clayton at this point. So we're going to show you a little bit of what's in a beta, and we want to get your feedback, and we're going to put this and make it available on the partner portal. But we've taken these kind of entry point use cases, and we've created, Clayton, are you on?
I'm here. Yeah.
Awesome. So Clayton went ahead and created a calculator to basically catalyze a discussion around the types of ROI that Vaidio can deliver. And Clayton, can you give me a little, just walk us through how to use this calculator. We'll start with the top here. There are two use cases. One is citizen benefits. The other is emissions reduction. And I can see everything changes with that. So what are these two categories?
Yeah, when we talked about traffic optimization and the use cases for Vaidio, there were several things that you get out of that. The first two that we talked about were reducing congestion and what the benefits from that were, and then the other was what happens with emissions, right? And so what we're trying to do here is build some simple, lightweight benefit calculators that are maybe not the most precise in terms of being exact, but they're logical and consistent and simple, and they're well sourced, right? So we've done a lot with AI deep research to get good data that we've triangulated on so that they'll stand up in a conversation but be simple enough to understand. And then we're going to make these flexible enough that you can enter in a customer's own data, right, and come up with numbers that are usable in sort of these early sales conversations to help a customer see the benefit of these products, right? So in this case, this first one, I think, which one are you on? You're on emissions?
I'm on emission reduction.
That's
which
great.
one do you want to do?
It does stay here. That's fine.
Okay.
So what's the benefit to reducing congestion in a city on emissions, right? So if you start the calculator, go ahead and hit that button. You'll be able to choose what size city do I have, right? Small, medium, large, or enter a custom population. So we've selected large. Let's go ahead and enter a population for a city. Matt, anything you choose. What do you think?
Let's do this. Population of my city is 60,000.
Good. 60,000. Okay. So hit view results.
Okay. Well, what are these? So this is basically a quick calculation that says, if you're in a city of 60,000, this is like the approximate vehicle miles per year and the excess CO2, right?
Yeah, so we've done a lot of research on data from the EPA, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and a lot of different studies from the Federal Highway Administration and some different universities, and come up with some good numbers for the average number of vehicle miles a person drives in a year, and how much CO2 that generates, and how much CO2 it's generated when someone's stuck in traffic versus what CO2 is generated when they're free flowing in a regular road when they're not stuck in traffic. And so being able to generate what the delta is between being in traffic and not being in traffic, and therefore we can figure out what's the difference when we reduce congestion. And so that's
these are very informed numbers. You've done like, this isn't just something that we just popped in here. This is something that has been researched through using AI to be very credible. And somebody who's a city manager would probably be nodding their head at this because they know this data as well as anybody, and you've sourced it from very credible sources, right?
And triangulated on it, right? So it's not just single sourced. We've found multiple sources to try to get down to an average number that we feel comfortable with that will stand up in a conversation. And we're going to make these calculators flexible enough that you can enter data from other sources and from the city's own sources if they know it.
Got it. Okay, let's view the results. What am I looking at here?
Right. So we figured from the multiple studies that we've done on traffic optimization and that we've reviewed from other sources that you can get between a 10 and 20% reduction in congestion when you use a similar system to what we're proposing with our traffic management software. So that kind of congestion reduction between 10 and 20% can get you between 5,900 and 11,900 tons of CO2 reduced for the size city that Matt introduced, which was 60,000 residents. That's an equivalent of cars off the road of between 1,200 and 2,500. And so that's easily understood by a city manager as being a sizable benefit for their city. You can see the calculation methodology, you can see the assumptions that we've put into the study, and then down below you can see the sources.
Amazing. Amazing, Clayton. We're out of time, but I just want to thank you for all your work here. And then if people want to get access to this in an early basis, or they have a deal out there that they think this would be interesting, or maybe they're having conversations with city managers right now, what's the email that they should send it to? marketing@vaidio.ai, right?
Yep, that's right down there at the bottom of the screen. We'd love feedback, we'd love input, and we'd love to partner with folks on building out these calculators and also in other use cases like hospitals, retail, and other industries where we're going to do this work.
Man, great job. Thank you so much for jumping on here at the end and helping us out to understand this. And guys, if you want to take a crack at using this, we're really ready for you. And we're just going to keep developing these so that we can have amazing high value conversations with our customers. Gael, can we wrap it here? We're 2 minutes over.
Yes, there was just one question about accessing the demo site. I will provide instructions in our recap email that comes out after this.
Thank you, Gael.
Awesome.
Thank you, team.
Thank you,
Really
everyone.
appreciate your time. And
Thanks,
thank you to our
everyone.
partners, man. We love you guys.